and thank you for joining us this evening. Tonight is our PTSA slash data family, family data night. I said that backwards. So we will start off with the family data night and then move to a presentation by Mr. Allred from the counseling department, and then the school principal, Mr. McCullough, will give us I call it the state of the school report, and then we can go into some questions and then call for officers, and then adjourn for this evening. So without further ado, I will stop sharing my screen and pass the ball over to Dr. Higgs. Great.
And I'm going to actually pass the ball on to Ms. Epps.
Good evening, parents. We appreciate you being here. There's a lot of information going to be shared tonight, but we are recording, so we will be putting this on the website. So anything that you don't quite get, you can always review it on the website, or if you have a friend or a neighbor who could not be here tonight, this information will be on the website for them as well. We're going to cover our data information tonight, as well as state testing and some information about scheduling. All right, our vision for student success is presented from the district. Every day, Shelby County School students experience high levels of success. I'm not going to read this to you. We're all grown and can read this for ourselves, but we want well-rounded students to matriculate through our high school and through graduation. We will discuss college and career readiness tonight, standards-based district curriculum governed by the Tennessee state standards. Our equity in action with equity, early literacy, high school strategies, and core instruction. Our purpose tonight to inform you on student progress on various assessments, how to read those assessments, provide guidance and recommendations on how to assist your students at home. The state requires all students in grades 3 through 8 and high school to test in 10 Ready and EOC tests in person. It's very important for parents to ensure students are present at the school on testing day, and this includes all students who are currently learning virtual. Student safety is our priority as we prepare to administer the required in-person tests in May.
Good evening, Warriors. How's everyone doing? My name is Carlton McClellan. I have the privilege of serving Central as Vice Principal this year. So I'm going to talk to you about where to go get the good news, or what we hope is good news. So third quarter is over. We're over 75% of the way through the school year. Grades were finished on Thursday the 15th last week. So now everything is just being pushed down by the district and compiled into a nice, tidy report card, just like we used to. So obviously, with everything going on with COVID-19, we don't issue report cards in the students' hands. Most of them are at home, as you all know. So they are made available in PowerSchool through your parent exit. So you see on the left here, this is what the site looks like at scstn.powerschool.com. Log in with your username and ID. It's the same information you use to do registration. All right, once inside, then you'll see the screen on the right, top left-hand corner. See your kids' names. You see little Carlton and little Carmen. Those are my babies. But you will See those orange, yellow, and I think that's a light purple. Forgive my color ignorance, but it says report card. So report cards for third quarter will be made available on the 21st. They do it just like in the old days. It'll be after school. So mostly, I think it's after 3 p.m. You'll be able to go into your Parent Pal School Access, click there, and see your report card. If you forget your username and password, you can always use that forgot password link and recover it through your email address. Call the school or email an administrator. We will also be able to assist you with that. And one more note before we move on. Remember, the report card always has the GPA on there. I know this time of year, everyone is really, really interested in what the GPA is. So that is on their report card, not through regular Pal School Access. Here, of course, is the sample report card. This one's just through quarter 2. Of course, everything will be going with those teacher comments, things of the nature, and then the report card, the GPA will be there at the very bottom in the center on the 21st. Remember, the 21st, 3 p.m.
Hey, hello, good evening, everyone. Hello, I'm Dr. Brown. I'm the assistant principal for attendance and testing. I serve as the building testing coordinator. I want to take just a quick minute to go over the Mastery Connect formative assessment. So the district formative assessments are assessments that the district put in place to have a common way to see how students in the district are doing. They are standards aligned, and they are also supposed to be aligned, therefore, with the actual EOC assessments, the end of course assessments. The students are, they're tested on current grade level standards in ELA, math, and science. At the beginning of the year, they were actually given a diagnostic test as well that looked at standards from the previous subject area, the previous year. In 2021, we've done 2 assessments in addition to the original diagnostic. We did one in the fall, which was in the month of November, and then we just completed our second one. It says April 9th, but they had extended that until April 16th. Okay, so I do want to go ahead and share some of the data that we have so far. So this is from the fall CFA that we did. Of course, the window for the second one just ended. So this is the most recent information that we have is from the fall. So here you can see, just to explain the chart a little bit. So this is a general or an overall look at our school's formative assessment. You see the content area, the general content area, not necessarily the course, but the general content area. Then you see the below numbers for 2019, and then you see below approaching, on track, and mastered. Those are the scoring or level labels that are given to students based on the scores that they receive on these assessments. Obviously, the goal is on track and mastered. So you can see here in ELA, our mastered was 1.9 in the fall. The percentage of kids on track was 9.6, and then approaching 31.1. And the students that are scoring below is 57.4, which is a little bit lower than the year before. You can see with 69.8. For math, we actually have more below students this year. People have said it's harder to teach, math virtually, but our numbers the year before were 63.9. So we have some work that we can do in this area for sure in math. And for science, our below numbers really, really improved this year. The below numbers last year in science were 90.1, and this year, less than half of our students are scoring below. And so now we'll take a look at the individual grade level assessment. So again, same chart set up. Here we have a breakdown of ELA 1, which is 9th grade, and ELA 10, which is 10th grade. So you can see here our below numbers still, more than half of the students are scoring below. And these are the numbers for math. Again, as I mentioned before, math is our toughest area. Algebra 1, especially, we have 80% of our students that are scoring at that below level this year, which did increase from the year before. In geometry, we have 73% below, and in algebra 2, 70.9. And again, this is supposed to be standards aligned and indicative of the EOC. So we really just want to look at some things and how we can improve these areas. And these are the numbers for science. Again, biology is the only science tested area. So these are the same numbers that we saw earlier. We're at 42.1% below, and 9.2 and 14% on track.
Naviance is used to create a scope and sequence to guide students' post-secondary preparation from grades 8 to 12. With Naviance, there are benefits for the school, the student, and the parent or guardian. Starting with the parent or guardian as the first step, the parent or guardian engagement empowers families to maintain an active role in their student learning. When schools, family, and community groups work together to support learning, children tend to do better in school, stay in school longer, and like school more. So now you're saying exactly, what is Naviance? Naviance is a comprehensive 6th through 12th grade college and career readiness solution that helps districts and schools align student strengths and interests to post-secondary goals, improving student outcomes and connecting learning to life. So in middle school, a student can start in Naviance with self-discovery. Who am I? What do I want to be? How will I get there? Will I be successful? So from middle school throughout high school, Naviance will help lead the student from the beginning of who am I to actually being in post-secondary preparation in college. Middle school students will start with the self-discovery assessments. These assessments will help them to understand their unique strengths, connect their interests to careers, set goals for their current and future goals, develop self-knowledge and personal motivation. Parents, to gain access to your student Naviance account, you will log into Clever, select student, enter the student ID number. The password is going to be your child's date of birth, 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the date, and 4 digits for the year, and enter. I have included an insert of what the page will look like once you are logged in. Underneath college readiness, select Naviance. Parents, to learn more about Naviance student, you can visit Naviance by Hobson's website by scanning the QR code on the right-hand side. Encourage your child to explore potential career pathways and discuss their academic, personal, and career goals. Contact your school counselor for questions related to Naviance student. Remember, 9th grade is Miss Trinice Nams, 10th grade, Miss D.R. Smith, 11th and 12th grade, Mr. Lance Allred, and myself, Deetria Carew.
Good evening. I am Dr. Higgs, the PLC coach and Title I coordinator here at Central High School. I just wanted to let you know that it is our goal to make sure that the parents are aware of everything that's happening at Central High School. So look out every Thursday night for a robocall and a text reminder to check your email for the Central High School announcement PowerPoint. There you will find information about what's going on with your students as well as information for parents. Also below, you will find a link to our web page, which is schools.scsk12.org/Central High School. Now we will hear from Dr. Erin Luster from our FACE office.
Good afternoon or good evening, families. Thank you so much
for providing this opportunity to my Central family. I'm excited to be here. In the Family and Community Engagement Department, we provide services to support families, and we also support our schools as they engage with families. So one of the first things I want to do as we hop into today's slides is to recognize the very first family member from Central to participate in today's chat, and that is Miss Lanita Johnson. So Miss Lanita Johnson, you are the winner of an SCS swag bag for being the first parent to, or family member rather, to participate in today's chat. So congratulations to you. Moving into our slide presentation. We want you all to know about our upcoming family forum. We have been hosting family forums each month this school year, starting back in August. Each month, we're hosting a virtual family forum on Saturdays to bring information to families about things that are going on in and around our community. So with that being said, this month we're focusing on early childhood, and I know that most of you all do not have a student who is starting school, because many of you all have students who are about to finish school, but there may still be a few of you on the call who have one of our early learners, that is our pre-K through second grade. We'll be focusing on those students. We will also be focusing on families who have a student that is in transition. So that might be a pre-K going to kindergarten, a first-time student in kindergarten. Those are fifth graders entering sixth grade, eighth graders entering ninth grade, and of course, our 12th graders who are entering the world of work and careers or the military or whatever those students have determined is next for them in terms of post-secondary opportunities. We'll be providing resources and information to those families. Next month, we'll be focusing on recruitment. That's for families who are not yet a part of our awesome Shelby County Schools family. We'll be providing them with an opportunity to engage with us, talking a little bit about summer literacy and again, community resources. If you're wondering about community resources, those topics do range, but this month it's utility assistance, rent and mortgage assistance, prescription drug assistance, and support for families who have veterans in their families. So we'll be providing information to families on how they can get support with those services. I'd like to give everybody the heads up. You don't have to have a cutoff notice or an eviction letter or anything like that to receive support in these areas. If you are behind or think that you would be behind in the coming months, particularly if your family has been impacted economically following the COVID pandemic, any of those things will be providing resources around that. So again, whether that's you or someone you know, I do want you to share information about the utility assistance, utility assistance, rent and mortgage assistance, veteran support, and prescription drug assistance. So if you know families who might be interested in those topics as well, we do want them to join us this Saturday between 10 and 12. You'll get more information on that on our SCS Family Forum website, which will be coming to you in the chat in just one moment. And then finally in June, we'll be focusing on registration and Power School. I did hear some support kind of conversation. If families believe that they are needing some support getting connected to Power School, we're able to help you and to provide you with that support as well. So in the chat, I think in just a moment, you'll see a link to join us for the Family Forum. Moving on, I do notice that we are starting to see increased calls in our homework hotline. So our students have been learning at home, many of them this school year. Some have just returned to school and homework is yet still happening. We have kept our homework hotline open for our students. We've even increased the hours. We're starting at 3 and going to 8 now, but our homework hotline is open for our families. Our students can call in Monday through Thursday between 3 actually and 8 p.m. You have the phone number there on your screen. It's really easy, 416, like all SCS numbers, 416-1234. They can call and get support. I do want families to know that homework hotline will close for this school year, June 9th. So that is free to families. We can provide homework help, and we can also provide tutoring to students. If there are families who are needing support with languages, homework hotline is support homework hotline support is available in 7 languages, and you see those there on your screen. So that's information that is free to each of you. I can't believe it, but I did leave information out of the slides today. And so I do accept the responsibility there. But families, we want you all to know about our ACT Family Night. That will be happening next week. So if you have a student, particularly this is our younger high school students and middle school students, think about first-time ACT test takers. We're providing support for those students and their families by giving them information around the ACT and ways that they can prepare for the ACT. On this registration site that I've just dropped in the chat there's a link for you. You can choose to sign up just to attend the workshop, which anyone can do, or you can also sign up to receive a free ACT book. We like to refer to this as the Big Red Book, but this is the book that is listed on the ACT student website. For families, that cost is somewhere around, I think, $32, $34. We do not want families to expend that on their own. And so you can sign up there. If you're depending on whether your student is in school or at home, there are some options on how you'll get your book when you sign in. And so you can give us that information. You have options there. We can get it to the school, to the student directly, particularly if the student is enrolled in in-person learning, or if you want to go to the school to pick it up. We can also ship it to your home. So you have some options there. You can come to the board to pick it up even. That it may be convenient for some of our central families, but not for every SES family. But we definitely want you to know about that. And I will also drop the flyer in there when I conclude this part of the presentation, which will be in just a second. Going to the next slide. Families, I definitely want you to know about that ACT Family Night. And then, of course, our contact information. I want to pause right here to give you an opportunity to get screenshots and also to go ahead and head over to those social media sites to follow us if you are a social media user, so that you can get current information about what's going on in our FACE department, and you have that information there. I am Erin Luster. I am glad to have spent this time with you families. I will be watching the chat. I do have another prize to give away. So Central, if you want to engage families in the chat and kind of come up with anything, contest that, those types of things in the chat. Otherwise, we'll be looking for a special family. We will raffle off another prize before today's workshop is over. So thank you so much, Central Team, for inviting me. I'm always glad to be here with the Warriors. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Luster. So now I started with the good news. So here is some not so good news. Now, we know that this has been a very, very difficult year. Some of our students will have to attend summer school. One positive, summer school is shorter this year. So here are the dates. It's a 4-week program. It does encompass both semesters, and students can use it to recover their credits. Next slide, please. So this summer, they can recover failed coursework, new coursework, but that's only for select courses, or do credit recovery. Those basically, if you failed a class, or there are some classes you need to take as a prerequisite, you can go ahead and take those and start next year fresh. There is an option for in-person and virtual instruction. They do have a limited number of in-person seats for Cordova, Craigmont, Ridgeway, Southwind, and Whitehaven. Those are the high school sites. Now, here's the tricky part. Now, students are eligible to take a maximum of 2 credits. So you can split that up if you need to. For example, say I have a 10th grader or he or she may have had some bad grades, first semester in geometry, second semester English, things of that nature. You can combine half credits to those 2 full credits. So the example I have here is the student may need to take the entire summer to recover the geometry credit, but they may have only done bad in the first semester of English and the second semester of biology. So you put that 1 full geometry with those 2 halves, and that's the 2 full credits. So if we do have some seniors on the line that may go into summer school, may not be that they failed, but maybe a course that they missed, or need to go ahead and take one last course to get all of their 22 required graduation credits, then that graduation will happen in August. And it is, they do have to satisfy all 22 credits in accordance with SES policy 5004. For additional information, you want to make sure you go to scssummerschool.com. That site has a lot of information about the timelines for registration, when they start, when the classes begin, when they transition to the next class, so on and so forth. Now, one more thing before I pass it on. Talked about report cards. I know some of you thinking, well, he's talking about summer school. He's not talking about my baby. What you want to be is sure. So please check Power School. Please check those report cards after 3 p.m. on the 21st. You want to know, you want to be sure. Like we tell the kids all the time in the announcements, I didn't know, it's not an excuse. Thank you.
Here we also have some other programs that are available. We have an ESL summer program that the district is offering for Newcomer Enrichment to continue their learning through the summer. And we also have a CLU summer program that is listed here as well. And Exceptional Children and Health Services will provide an extended school year this year as well. And that information is on your screen. All right, so let's move into our testing information. The TN Ready EOCs are required by state and federal governments. They were not administered last year, so it's very important to measure how students are performing on these, mastering these essential learning standards, as well as college and career readiness. The state has extended the testing window to allow schools more flexibility. So that's why, because we started late, we are testing later in the window. The test provides schools and families with information about how well students are meeting grade level learning expectations. Parents can see how their child is progressing compared to peers in the district, as well as their strengths and areas of growth, especially when preparing, using this information to help prepare for the ACT for high school students. The tests are used to determine eligibility and placement for honors, advanced courses, dual credit, CLU, etc. The test helps teachers determine additional personalized learning that students may need, interventions in reading and math. Tests hold students accountable for ensuring equity in our instruction and serving students fairly. And the test also highlights schools that are excelling, which helps more schools learn and apply those same best practices to support students. Students who attend school on testing days will receive 100 points as a participation grade in every tested subject. So if your student takes English and say they take English 1, they'll get 100 points for each day of testing. And for English 1, that's 2 days. If they take Algebra 2, they will have 100 point participation grade in that tested subject for each day of testing. Attendance counts on testing days, and only students who come to school in person will be counted as present on those testing days. If all students do not take the test at school on testing days, funding for the school and district could be impacted, and this could cause us to have fewer teachers and students and fewer resources to support those students. We have prepared places around the building that meet the safety protocols to help ensure your child's safety when they do come into the building. We have temperature check stations. We have socially distanced classrooms. And there are a few pictures of those around the school. We have increased our cleaning protocols, our safeguards to limit the spread of germs, the use of personal protective equipment. We do have masks and hand sanitizer and such that has been given to us. So we have that in the building as well. And health and safety signage across the building, including the floor, to help with socially distancing in the hallways when we have to change rooms or go to the cafeteria and such. You can see a few of these examples here. Our signage, our temperatures, our signs on the floor, our markings on the floor, as well as barriers when they have to conduct business. To increase our effectiveness of getting them in the building, we will increase our entrances to 4 on testing days, 2 on the Linden side, which are already active, and we will have 2 on the Bellevue side, 1 in the D wing and 1 at the green door on testing days. Students will have their temperatures checked and will have to wear a mask as they enter the building. If your student has an elevated temperature at the time, we will do a second reading just to make sure it wasn't a problem with that. If there was, we do have a safe room that they would be sent to if they do have a fever. Student arrival, parents will check students' temperatures before leaving home, and the doors will open at 6:45 in the morning. School staff will monitor students to ensure their temperatures are scanned, and students will remain physically distanced. Parents will not be permitted to walk their students into the building unless they have an appointment. If students are found to have an elevated reading, we will read it again before we send them to the safe room and contact you, and masks must be worn at all times. Our dress code continues even on testing days. We do want to make sure that you're aware, because of the updated systems in the school, our fans are going 24 hours a day to promote ventilation throughout the building. So it is a little cooler than normal in years past in the building. So please make sure they come dressed accordingly. Students should practice social distancing on the bus. The buses will run on testing days. There will be a survey that is in Power School that you can complete to request transportation, and the regular bus stops will apply. So if you normally are too close to the school to get busing to the school, or too far away to get busing to the school, those things will still apply. But will be a survey in Power School that you will use to request that information. Excuse me. Students who ride the bus will be required to wear a mask as well. These are the safety and PPE protocols from Durham for all the bus drivers. They will have assigned seats on the bus if they do ride a bus. Buses will run at regular time for dismissal as well. Transitions in the hallway will be limited. We will have a break between a couple of the 2 tests, or depending on how many tests we have in that particular day, could be 2 breaks between the 3 tests. And then if they are staying for lunch, they will transition to the cafeteria or the auditorium if they don't eat lunch, and then they will transition back to that same classroom for the remainder of the day, and they will have their computers where they log into the afternoon classes after the testing is over, and we'll go over that schedule in just a few minutes. End of day dismissal will be scheduled on a staggered basis to help with social distancing. At 2:05, the bus riders will leave. 2:10 will be the the walkers, and 2:15 will be the car riders. Testing will take place in classrooms with approximately 10 to 12 students at max. So we will be using the majority of teachers to help get testing done. So that way your students don't have to come every day during this 2-week period. Students who do not check out after testing will go to the cafeteria for lunch or to the auditorium if they don't want to eat. School meals will be provided in the morning. Breakfast is from 6:45 to 7:10 in the cafeteria, again with seating charts so we can track anything that needs to be tracked. Virtual parents will still be able to pick up their meals at the school sites on the designated days as well. This is the information I just shared about staggered dismissal. We will have a checkout time after testing. It will be approximately 11 o'clock. Of course, that depends on everyone starting on time and finishing on time for the test. We will have secretaries outside, one on Linden side, one on Bellevue side. They will get your child's name and we will call it out on the intercom, and then they can come out and meet you at your car. So they do not have to stay all day. If you would rather pick them up and go home and then log in virtually for the afternoon classes, that is doable. They are still required to wear a mask even as they exit the building until they get in the car with you. All right, our in-person testing schedules are as follows. So this is a breakdown of how many minutes each test is and each subpart for each test. And this is just testing time. This does not include break between tests. It does not include reading and directions and instructions, passing out materials, taking up materials. So this is actual test minutes. And so this is the layout of each test. And this is district-wide. So for English 1 will be 2 days. The first 2 days, we will have a break on Wednesday, and English 2, the last 2 days of the first week. And then the next week, we will have Algebra 1, all 3 subparts in the same day. And then we will have geometry on Tuesday. Wednesday is biology, only 1 subpart. Thursday is Algebra 2 with all 3 subparts. And then Friday is U.S. history with both subparts. We will have makeup days on the 17th, starting the 17th. If your child happens to miss a particular day, you should get information from the school or Dr. Brown specifically about when makeup dates and
I'm
times
in the
are.
school meeting. You know, y'all got to go back to school for those tests.
If you
in
could
May.
please mute. All right, so Central High School's schedule. Specifically, on the first day, English 1 subparts 1 and 2, we will test starting at 7:15, and that will end approximately at 11 o'clock. We will have 2 lunch periods, 11 to 11:25 and 11:30 to 11:55. And then we will go to first period and then second period that afternoon. The next day, we will have the similar testing time, and then we will do third and fourth in the afternoon. Wednesday is a regular bell schedule. We will go to every class on Wednesday. It will not be a WOW Wednesday. Excuse me. So we can make sure and get as much time as we can with each teacher. On that Thursday, similar testing schedule, and we will do 5th and 6th period. And Friday is the day that we have a shorter test. And so we will do 3 periods in that day. We'll do 7th period before lunch and then 1st and 2nd after. With this rotation, we can have each teacher still see their students 4 times within this 2-week period. So they will still be going to class every afternoon. Students are encouraged to bring their own pencils and water bottles. Our school will provide all other testing supplies. We do have water if needed. Some people would prefer to bring their own so they still don't have to touch anything, and that is totally up to you, but we will have water available if needed. Please bring your student to school. It is very important that we get this accomplished, and we hope to see you soon. And now I will turn it over to Ms. Ross.
All right. Next, we will have Mr. Allred and Dr. Higgs. Do you have that presentation, or do you want me to? Okay. I knew you did. Mr. Allred? Oh, I see you.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Just really briefly want to make you aware that we are starting the course selection and scheduling process for the 21-22 school year. Next slide, please. So what is guiding this is not so much, sometimes it may not be what the student wants exactly, but we're going, especially when we're talking about electives, you know, it's always a balance between what the student needs for graduation and what they want as far as like electives and things like that. We have another layer now. We have to balance in those two things with making sure that we have as many students as possible who are ready graduates. These are the 4 indicators that we're looking at, just like we count and keep a tally sheet or a checklist of every student's credits that they've earned as they move toward graduation. We're adding in, are they a ready graduate? And these are the indicators. You see 21 on the ACT or the EPSO classes, along with industry certification and an ASVAB score. Go ahead. So what's an EPSO? EPSO courses are early post-secondary opportunities. If you've ever heard me speak in the last 3 years, I have talked about one of these things. I usually talk about advanced placement. I talk about dual enrollment, where students are attending college at the same time they're attending high school. Dual credit, which are classes that are taught at Central High, but students have the opportunity to receive college credit. If they pass the exam at the end of the year, the credit is held at the state level, then it's placed on their college transcript once they enroll. Now, we understand students, not everyone's going to college, and we totally support that. So we have several courses that students can earn industry certifications. We also have the opportunity next year for students to go to Mortech and begin one of the associate degree programs. Go ahead. So how this is the process. So we are going through English like we always do. As counselors, we'll do presentations at each grade level. This year is a little different in that the course requests, when students make them, that's going to be all through Naviance. And Ms. Caruth talked about that earlier and how to access it. There is a course planning section. It's really simple to follow. And it basically is your transcript. It's the student transcript right there. And then this ability to add courses into the plan that the student wants to take, then they can submit it for approval. And we see it and we can click a button and we can make that course request system. It's no longer those big long sheets of paper or them signing into their PowerSchool to do it. We can connect through Navient. So it's just extremely important that the students are doing their Navient's part. And we're going to be in the classrooms. We're going to be walking them through it again. But this time, it's always been important, but it really is this time. So courses that students take are going to be aligned with those course plans and their post-secondary intentions, which is also there's in Navient. So I can run a report that will say, hey, I want to be a nurse. Well, if you want to be a nurse, then your schedule is going to look a little different than someone who maybe wants to be an engineer or wants to be a plumber or have you go take HVAC. So we're going to align those. And it sounds like it's harder and the kids immediately draw back when we talk about it. We are not saying they're going to take more classes. We're just saying their schedule is going to be more intentional. We're going to take kind of the fluff out, and there'll still be TAs, they can still be office assistants, but we're going to take that fluff out so that there is this direct correlation between what they're doing in high school and them being a ready graduate. It means they're ready for whatever that next step is, what's best for them. And we're doing these courses. We are going to try our best to make sure that there's something for everyone. Ms. Caruth went through also, you can go to the next slide. If you have any questions, the scheduling process is a little different in that Ms. Ruth and I will be working with the rising 11th graders, which are this year's 10th graders. So if you as a parent of the 10th grader, you would not, for scheduling next year, necessarily talk to Ms. Smith. You would reach out to one of us, Mr. Allred or Ms. Caruth. But this, our contact information again. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to email us, and I can get a little more detail. I know it's a long night, so I just wanted to briefly make you aware of this process, and hopefully you sit down with your student and look at that Naviance program. It is really, it's like probably the best purchase in my 23 years of being with MCS and SCS. It really is a great program. So I do appreciate the time. And like I said, if you have any questions, just shoot me an email. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Allred. Now we'll transition to Mr. McCullough and the principal's report. And it looks like he is ready.
You have a slide there for me, Ms. Ross?
I do, just 1 second.
Great. Thank you all so much for being with us. Again, a lot of information. The good thing about coming to a PTSA meeting is sometimes you're on the cutting edge. So when I get to the end of my presentation tonight, I'm going to give some breaking news, some news that people have been waiting to hear for a minute. So that's coming. So hang with us just a few minutes, and the PTSA kind of gets a real benefit a lot of times because they get it right as it's coming hot off the presses. So that will be part of the conversation. And again, I can't stress enough, y'all, these report cards coming out tomorrow. I cannot stress enough that you need to look at that report card. I mean, we've been talking all year about how difficult virtual learning has been for students. It's been really good for some, a lot, but it has been extremely difficult on others throughout this district. So we're getting to a critical stage here where as the days go on, it's getting more and more difficult to get kids to get engaged. It's getting more and more difficult to get them to turn in work. And that's resulting in very poor grades. And I'm talking to the choir here. But again, you know, family members, you know, friends, everybody needs to look for that report card tomorrow. And we have sacrificed school time for Wow Wednesdays. And the participation level has been good enough to keep it going, but we still have a group that just will not engage, and they're gonna pay a dear price for it, because I think some of them are waiting for a gift to come along, and they're just going to be passed, and that is just not the case. That's just not the case. We've been teaching all year, so I can't stress enough how you need to make sure that you check these report cards, that you check on your kids. I know a lot of you are working or you're not at home when they're at home. Check with the teachers, make sure they're engaging, they're turning in work. You should have Power School capabilities yourself. If you don't, it's not too late for that. We're going later than we've ever gone, and it's going to be more and more difficult to engage kids, and we cannot lose them. We already have enough that are in a real situation here. And I just can't stress enough, they are going to have to earn their way to the next grade. There's not just going to be a move along because of COVID. You know, that's the only way I know how to put it. Other information here, Advanced Academics Night is Thursday night, 6 p.m. Going to be a great presentation to talk about all the advanced academic classes we have, from the multiple number of AP classes that we have to the dual enrollment opportunities that we have, dual credit opportunities, and we're expanding some of those. Really excited about some of that because Ready Graduate is the really new push that we're trying to go toward. A lot of things we're going to do to try to incentivize that next year. You know, even the things such as more tech. I mean, but we ought to have people lined up for that. These kids are really not probably collegiately bound, but they need a skill. Man, you can make some serious money with some ability of what you can learn at that school, HVAC, whatever. I mean, it's amazing. So all these type of opportunities Thursday night. So again, I know it's 2 nights in a week, but it'd be a great opportunity if you have a 9th through 11th grader for next year. EOC testing, Ms. Epps has gone over that. I can't stress to you enough. And, you know, actually somebody unmuted. We heard mom telling a kid, you got to go to school to take testing. Yes, ma'am. That is critical. Nobody can test at home. Everybody must come test. We have to have 90% of our students test. We have not come anywhere near that. The state is requiring, with probably penalties to the district if we don't do this. So we have to get our kids in school. It's not an option. It don't count for my kids, so I won't come. No, you have to have your kids at testing. We are putting precautions in place. We're going to make sure they're as safe as they can possibly be. And then again, if testing's over and you want to come check them out, we'll send you some instructions of how to do that, or they can stay the rest of the day. We're kind of phasing back into in-person learning as we're going anyway. I think some of these kids who are really struggling should be in our building instead of the 100 kids we have. The ones who are really struggling should be coming every day. That's my personal opinion, because it's not working at home. But testing wise, we got to have you here. Your kids have got to come. We need that message out, and you're going to hear it so much in the next week and a half that you're probably going to be sick of it. But we have to have the kids in person to test. And that's going to be tough, but that's what's got to happen. We have our next PTSA meeting on the 11th of May, 6 p.m. So make sure that's on your calendar. The ASVAB test, ASVAB is going to become more of a thing, y'all. I know ASVAB in the past, everybody's looked at it as being the military test, and it can be used for military purposes, but it also has tremendous career opportunity, ability, and you can opt not to have that information shared to the military. But going forward, that's another way of a student becoming college ready, and we're going to utilize that. I think there's going to be some district push that way next year. So ASVAB is not just a military test. It has great value, especially for our 9th through 11th grade students. So that's coming. Those students that have interest in that can reach out to their counselor. The virtual awards night on May 13th, that is a new date. So put that in your calendar. Do a credit testing on the 17th of May, AP testing on the 18th. That's where it begins. And that's your progress report time. Usually we're ending school about that time. So that's progress report time in Q4. And then ACT workshop on the 21st. And then again, reminder that every Thursday, robocalls, texts, and emails come out with very important information. Very important. We are trying the best that we can to communicate. Basically, PTSA virtual has been a positive thing. We have 30 or 40 people attending where we would normally have 10 to 15 or 20. So it has been a positive thing. But again, y'all are the choir. But the choir, what does the choir do? The choir sings out to the crowd. So your goal is to send this information out. Yes, they need to check report cards. They need to have their students on their testing days at school. And we need to finish strong, even though it goes into June. Because, it's just, we had just remind them, you had a long time from the middle of March till the end of August off. So we're going to have to give some of that back. And that's going to lead for a little bit of a shorter summer. But so please sing your best, shout the right message, and get it out, y'all, because it is critical. We're in a critical stage of this year. And so let's finish this strong. Now, for you senior parents, breaking news. You've been waiting on this as we've been going on. Let's start with graduation. Last year, we were not able to really have a graduation exercise. We did a drive-through, which was nice, but it wasn't quite the same. According to the superintendent today, graduation will occur at the Renaissance Center, the old convention center. I don't have details as to numbers and who. Now, no, it won't probably be like the old days when we gave you 12 to 15 tickets each because of social distancing and all that. But we are having a graduation ceremony as of right now, unless things just kind of fall off the cliff here with COVID. But so that is a exciting announcement. Not so exciting for our kids is that prom.
Wait a minute. June 12th at 10 a.m.
June 12th, 10 a.m. Yes. And not so exciting maybe for our seniors. We are not able to host a prom this year again, due to just the fact that it's probably the most difficult safe distancing event we could have. And having to try to keep kids away from each other during a prom, that would be an almost impossible job. So we are not hosting one ourselves. There is a possibility that we can maybe put something together, some type of activity. We're working on that to try to help a little bit with that. I am very sorry and sad for my seniors who really look forward to prom, but we're not going to be allowed to do that. That's the district is not going to allow anybody. It's not just a central thing, but we're working hard to try to come up with something maybe to help. But the great news is graduation right now is on the schedule to occur at the Renaissance Center. Like she said, May, I keep wanting to say May because that's just a habit. June 12th, 10 a.m. at the Renaissance Center downtown. So we're excited about that. All right, I think that's a lot. I'm through preaching a little bit. Sing well to my crowd out there as the choir. Let's get the information out, y'all. Report cards, testing, and graduation and prom. That information, we'll shout it out to the kids. And we're going to keep shouting it through the remainder of this school year, that the important things that are coming. That's what I have, Ms. Ross. Thank you. If anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to answer what I can.
Thank you very much, Mr. McCullough, Ms. Epps, Mr. Allred, Mr. McClellan, and anyone else. Dr. Higgs. Thank you very much. Very helpful and informative. All right, so let me see where we are here. All right, so since there's so many of you on tonight, and I thank you for attending, I really would like to push for officers next year. We need all positions. So if you are interested, please shoot me an email at memphischs.ptsa@gmail.com. And I'll be more than happy to speak to you, give you some details. It is not very difficult at all. And you will enjoy it. And let me just say that I have made some incredible friends during my time on the board. It just friends as far as other parents, and also made some great friends among the administration at the school. So again, it's a great opportunity. All right, given our time, I'm going to close for this evening. If you have any questions, please either put it in the chat or ask it now. There has been a lot of information given by everyone. And so I'm sure there are at least one question. I will also pass a lot of this information through on Remind. So be on the lookout for that. No questions? All right, with that, oh, I see something in the chat. Oh.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Leslie.
Yes, so the
You're too
the question about testing schedules, we will be sharing that testing schedule that we shared with you all tonight with the students after today, so everyone will know which days they will have to come to the school building.
Thank you. All right.
thank you to Ms. Lester for coming
Uh,
tonight. That was great to have her with us tonight.
Oh, yes. There's one question in the chat. How do we find our students' individual diagnostic scores?
It depends on what you mean by diagnostic scores. So we had no EOC testing last year, but the year before that we did. So your students' scores from that EOC test are in their CUME file. The records secretary can make you a copy of that if you'd like to have a copy to take home with you. If your student is in an intervention class, they have diagnostics that come home every 2 weeks, I do believe, with a progress report.
Hey, also, Ms. Epps, if they're referring to the diagnostic, the Mastery Connect one that I mentioned before, their teachers should have that, their EOC teacher.
Yes. Oh, okay. You're right. All right. And for those who won something, what should they do again?
They will take no action, Ms. Ross. That includes you as well.
Oh.
I will look up All Families in Power School, follow up with them directly, and determine the best way to get a contactless delivery of their swag bag. If their students enrolled in in-person learning, we'll send it home with them. If not, we will handle them on a case-by-case basis. Families take no action.
Oh, there you go. I like service. All right. If there are no further questions, I will adjourn the meeting, and I will look forward to seeing you next month. I think it's May 11th. I'm not sure. I wrote it down, but
Yes,
hey,
ma'am. Ms. Ross,
things-
Ms. Ross, it is May 11th, and I want to encourage all the parents to return to the PTSA meeting because I want input in our family school compact for next year, as well as our family engagement plan. So all parents can come back to offer their input for that.
perfect. All right, everyone, have a great night, and I will see you next month. Thank you again to all our presenters.